Lightning Overdrive releases in just a couple of weeks on June 4th, even earlier if you nab the pre-release event, and I don't know about you, but I'm excited. Quite excited. Today we're going to be introducing one of the new archetypes of the set, a deck that likes to play on the opponent's turn and features a variety of pink cards. Altergeist 2.0. No, really, you should see some of the similarities. The archetype I am talking about is Amazement. With an amusement park themed design featuring Easter eggs of multiple existing archetypes, the artwork alone is enough to make you want to play this deck. Although if you wanted to, you could cut it down to a splashable engine in other trap heavy decks like Traptrix and Eldritch. We're gonna start by begging you to like and subscribe because 50,000 make a YouTube man happy. Then we're going to go through all the cards and have a little discussion at the end as well. So starting with the main man himself, we have Amazement Administrator Arliquino in Secret Rare. If you blended Access Code Talker, Altergeist Multifaker, and Trap Trick all at once, this is probably what you would get. 2600 attack and 2200 defense, so he's quite the beefcake, and his effect is as follows. Once per turn, you can banish any number of attraction traps from your graveyard, then target that many cards your opponent controls as cost. Destroy them. You can only use each of the following effects of Arliquino once per turn. If a trap card is activated, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. So there's your multi-faker effect. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can target one of those face-up monsters they control, equip one attraction trap from your deck to that target. So late game, you can clear your opponent's entire board, doesn't matter if it's monsters or back row, just as long as you have enough traps in your graveyard. It's a free summon with good stats, allowing you to push for some damage, and it nets you a card from the deck, and that also plays around Ash Blossom because it equips from the deck specifically. All round, really good card. Next up, we have probably your best target for Arliquino's effect, and that's Amaze Attraction Horror House in Ultra. Boo. This is of course featuring the Ghost Trick archetype fittingly, and if you get that blender back out that we spoke about earlier and stick in a Book of Moon and Breakthrough skill, this is what you would get. Target one Amazement monster you control or one face-up monster your opponent controls, equip this card to it. You can activate the following effect based on which player controls the equipped monster. If you control the equipped monster, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. So there's your breakthrough skill. If your opponent controls the equipped monster, you can change the equipped monster to face down defense position, and there's your Book of Moon. You can only use this effect of Amaze Attraction Horror House once per turn. Now, if you are equipping this off of Arliquino's effect, you will have to be using the Book of Moon effect because you are equipping to your opponent's monster, but there are other in-archetype ways of getting to this card and therefore allowing you to make use of its other effect. Although the Book of Moon effect is still really good because against things like Zodiac, which are really prevalent in the meta right now, you can just stop their plays. Next up, we have another target for Arliquino, and that is Amaze Attraction Cyclo Coaster in Ultra Rare. Definitely wouldn't catch me on one of those, especially when it's based off of Nephthys, an archetype that likes being destroyed. Target one Amazement monster you control or one face-up monster your opponent controls, equip this card to it. You can activate the following effect based on which player controls the equipped monster. If it's under your control, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls, send both it and this card to the graveyard. So it does target, but it doesn't destroy. Then if it's equipped to your opponent's monster, you can add one Amazement monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do send this card to the graveyard, you can only use this effect of Cyclo Coaster once per turn. So built-in spell and trap removal is really nice, might even save you some spots in the side deck to be honest, and also of course you can search for Arliquino, but you can also search the normal summon of the deck that I haven't showed you yet. Amazement Attendant Comica, level 4 ultra rare, kinda looks like a Clecia. She is a machine type, obviously, and has the effect when this card is normal summoned, you can set one attraction trap directly from your deck. So this will give you access to the effects that equip to your monster, and also the trap that you do set is obviously your trigger for your Arliquino in hand. Quick effect, you can target one of your attraction traps equipped to a monster, equip it to one Amazement monster you control, or one face-up monster your opponent controls. You can only use this effect of Amazement Attendant Comica once per turn. So there you go, you're getting the option now to choose between the effects that you want to use. Definitely a lot of flexibility and a decent amount of searchability as well, especially when we introduce the next card, Amazing Time Ticket, a quick play spell card in Secret Rare. Pay 800, apply this effect depending on whose turn it is. If it's your turn, you can add one Amazement card from your deck to your hand. Any card, any Amazement card. Or if it's your opponent's turn, set one attraction trap directly from your deck. It can be activated this turn. You can only activate one amazing time ticket per turn. I mean, this card is ridiculously good because even though it is a hard once per turn, if you see multiples in your hand, it doesn't matter because you can activate one, set the other, and just use it as a literal trap trick. I would say it definitely warrants the secret rare slot and it's going to be nice and shiny. However, you'll be glad to hear that is all the high rarity cards done. Next up, we have a field spell, and I absolutely love the artwork on this. Amazement Precious Park. I mean, if this was a board game, I'm in, dude. It's mine. I'm buying it. Here we can see all the references in the card art. So we do, of course, have the horror house on the top right there for the Ghostrix, the Cyclo Coaster on the left with the Nepthes. We also have Ojamas on that Ferris wheel. We got a Plunder Patrol ship at the top there, like a Plunder Patrol ship swing or something. Got a little Melfi Cuddle Puddle on the right, and there's probably a couple more, but yeah, I can't figure them out right now. During your main phase, you can activate one attraction trap the turn it was set. During the end phase, you can send one attraction trap you control equipped to a monster to the graveyard, then target one of your attraction traps with a different name that is banished or in your graveyard. Set that card. You can only use each effect of Precious Park once per turn. So this kind of allows you to instantly start playing with your traps if you're going second. However, it's also worth noting it specifically says during the end phase, meaning during your opponent's end phase and your end phase, you can just constantly cycle out your traps. It's like infinite recursion, and Cosmic Cyclone doesn't really hurt the deck that much because you can set back from your banished pile as well. So that should be common or super rare, and then getting into our final card here, which also should be common or super rare, we have Amazement Family Faces. I see some Malphys on the top shelf there. Gotta love it. Now you gotta be careful with this one because it isn't an attraction trap and therefore you can't set it off the likes of Comica. You can search it off of Ticket though, and the effect is target one monster your opponent controls equipped with your attraction traps. Equip this card to it. While this card is equipped to a monster, take control of the equipped monster. So it's like a crackdown that requires a little bit of setup. However, it gets real funky because by changing control of the monster that your traps are equipped to, you're therefore then changing the effects available to you on your equipped traps. While you control the equipped monster, it gains 500 attack. You cannot activate its effects. Also, it is treated as an amazement monster. You can only activate one Amazement Family Faces per turn. So continuous effects are still fair game on the likes of Vanity's Ruler, and also, unlike Crackdown, you can attack with the monster that you take. So overall, on the surface, the archetype seems pretty simple, but actually there is a lot of nuance and decision making to be had. I think it's definitely one of those decks that can easily confuse your opponent and will probably reward highly skilled play. If you were to build this as sort of a pure deck, obviously a lot of powerful traps like Torrential Tribute, Ice Dragon's Prison would be really nice. Also notice that typically you're only normal summoning Comica and most of the time you'll be special summoning Arliquino on your opponent's turn. This does open up the potential of playing things like Pot of Duality, and because you're really not using the extra deck, things like Prosperity and Extravagance are also really nice. Dogmatica Punishment also sounds really nice in this kind of situation because triggering your Arliquino in hand while benefiting off the extra deck send is kind of cool. So great artwork overall, definitely an interesting theme, seems pretty fun to play, and that all comes out in Lightning Overdrive on June 4th. Let me know what you are most excited for in Lightning Overdrive because I know there's a lot of different cards hyped by a lot of different people, one of those being the Tri-Brigade Link 2, and that is the final reference I needed to make to my current deck. You know, Malphys, Zodiac, Tri-Brigade, Traps, Dogmatica, we're done here. Thanks for watching, thanks Konami for getting me to do this, and I'll see you next time.